Hey strong people, Beck here, and today I'm going to be talking about the upcoming contest, the strongest woman in the world, going on in Norway this weekend, full of really the strongest women in the world. Don't just cover heavyweight men on this channel. Of course, you know that's the most known, but the strong women have been gaining recognition extremely quick ever since about 2014 it started. I think, 2015 or 16 when they awarded pro cards, and it's really taken off. And this contest this weekend is going to be a big culmination of that, and really expecting big things. And it's cool. It's one of the first ones, other than actually like World's Strongest Woman. Well, actually even that, where it's a standalone event at its own destination, really how World's Strongest Man for Men is, and this is huge. And I know the women involved are taking this very seriously, and they're very prideful about trying to grow the pro side of strong women. So here's the first bit of the write-up I got from the promoters going on. In the middle of the Norwegian mountains, an arena has been built, an arena for giants. Huge power stairs, enormous Hercules hold pillars, timber yokes in a shitload of stones. Hafthor Bjornsson has set world records on this equipment. Eddie Hall has been here. Krzysztof Radzikowski has cursed the stones several years in a row. And JF Karan has been crowned SCL winner here several times. This weekend, 21, the strongest women in the world will be here using the same equipment, feeling the same awe and power. There is no arena more mythical and desirable for a strongman athlete to compete on than the Fafjord arena. And it's pretty cool. If you ever seen World's Strongest Viking contest, or that one of like Thor holding the Hercules hold, or when he did that, set a 1,000-year-old Icelandic world record or whatever it was when he had that big timber yoke. It's the same event, but they're lucky that this is now the summertime, I think, there, so that they're not doing it in the freezing cold, but same cool equipment. I mean, it's going on over 3 days. On Friday, they're doing the Hercules hold, which with pretty much the same equipment, the same setup that all the pro strongmen have done. I'm sure, scaled down slightly, but that's going to be interesting. It says it's going to be about 265 to 285 pounds a hand, and that's 120, 130 kilos. And I think that event's going to be very deciding on on a lot of things. It's not seen too much. We did see it at the Arnold Pro Strongwoman event. One of the downsides to Strongest Woman in the World is all of the competitors need their Strongman Corporation Pro cards, which is a good thing, but they're not really as readily available in other parts of the country other than the United States. So it's a world competition, but it's very heavily U.S. favored. Not favored, but heavy. There's a lot more percentage of United States athletes than international athletes, but there's still some very good international athletes. Second event, and then on Saturday they're going to be, so they're doing it World's Strongest Man style, where they're doing just one or two events a day. So Friday they're doing a Hercules hold. Saturday they're doing a heavy truck pull with a harness and a rope, supposedly about 17 ton. And then they're finishing up with a timber yoke, and it's that same, not the same yoke, but the same style, where it's a big wooden beam. So I think that might throw some of the athletes off, because it's a different yoke than they're used to, where it's a metal yoke, and the balance is going to be a lot further out. So whoever's more technical will be able to and can pick up different pieces of equipment will be favored, because I don't think anyone's really been able to touch this stuff. I know Leifa Engels did a seminar over there, so she probably got a quick rundown on it, but not enough to be training on week after week to be a huge advantage. And it's pretty heavy for the lightweight women. It's a 462 pounds, 210 kilos, 235 kilos, 517 pounds for the middleweights, 260 kilos / 572 pounds for the heavyweights, and then the last event, the third event on Saturday, is Extreme Atlas Stones. Now this is nuts. They're doing 8 stones and they have 60 seconds to complete it. It's from 60 to 130 kilos for the lightweights, 75 to 143 kilos for the middleweights, so that's what, right at 300 pounds. And for the heavyweights, 80 to 150 kilos. And 150 kilos might be a world record. I'd have to double check. No, I think that's a little under. Leif Engels at California Strongest Woman hit the world record stone, and of course Donna Moore did at the Arnold with her record with no tacky. And then on Sunday, they go into the Viking Press. Again, big timber log, awesome looking equipment. Go to startingstrongman.com for a bunch of pictures of this equipment. And also got to note that it's going to be live streamed, and there's a link there at startingstrongman.com, or I'll try to remember to put it in the description for this video. And the last event, which you haven't seen be a last event in a long time, but I think will be very interesting, doing a power stairs head-to-head. And I think for lightweights it's 140 kilos, middleweights 150, and heavyweights 170, which is about 370-ish pounds. And they have to get, I think, what is their head-to-head? I don't know. I think they have to get 3 implements up 3 stairs apiece, so 9 total. And they're like 18-inch, so they're pretty big. Going on to, I'm going to do a quick rundown of the competitors in each division. So never mind, here they are. So lightweight women is we have current, I don't officially keep the rankings on Starting Strongman anymore. I haven't for years just because it's a hassle and makes people hate me. But Christina Bengma has pretty much won everything, so you have to consider her the favorite and the #1 ranked lightweight in the world. It's just, I don't know how you can make an argument for it. I think it's safe to make an argument for the second rank, being Laura Anderson right now, as I'm pretty sure she got second at Strongest Woman in the World and USS Women's World, and at the Arnold Pro she did the best out of the lightweights, I believe, and she even won the Hercules hold, so she's got tremendous grip. She's a lot taller than most, so she might also be good at power stairs and stones. This is an event that this whole contest might suit her well. You notice there's also, she's a good deadlifter, but there was no deadlift in there. I think the Viking Press will be the deciding event for her. We also have Jessica Kite, who's always a very formidable athlete, especially on pressing events. Rachel Luton, Leslie Hoffin, who's won. She won America's Strongest Woman, I think, and Strongest Woman. She's won a bunch of stuff. She won Strongest Woman in the World when it was in Florida the first year. It's unfortunate that her best event, the deadlift, isn't included, but she's very good at everything. So I expect her to be right up there in the podium. And the UK contingent is Farah Fonseca. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Never heard her name said before, but she got first or second. She was on the main stage of the Arnold Amateur, I think 2 years ago, and made day 2 at Worlds, somewhere in the top 5, I believe. Good all around, so she'll be right up there as well. And from Canada, Jessica Thieker, who was also at the Arnold Amateur, and I think is pretty similar to Farah in her strengths and weaknesses. In middleweight, probably the most, lightweight looking. This is Rachel, I think it's Rachel Pyron, actually, who's a presser, great presser, and very good strong woman as well. In middleweight, it's usually the most competitive class in a way. We have a stacked lineup. Even though looking at lightweight, it's very stacked. We have a Sarah Cogswell, who she's the one that did the Arnold Amateur last year as a heavyweight and did very well. I think, but yeah, she got day 2 at World's Strongest Woman in North Carolina as well. Ashley Crawford, Strongman Corporation National Champion. Bailey Deshane, Brittany Diamond, Summer Johnson, Kim Lawrence, and Rebecca Roberts. I'm not seeing. Some of these lists aren't exactly lining up with what I have, but I know Letha Engels is also competing. Hold on a second. Let me go back to the other list. Make sure I have this. Yeah, Letha Engels. Okay. So here's the whole list of competitors. We got Laura Sprague, Christina Bangla, Jackie Bundus, Sarah Cogswell, Ashley Crawford, Bailey Deshane, Brittany Diamond, Jessica Fithen, Farrah Fonseca, Leslie Hoffins, Letha Engels, Summer Johnson, Jessica Kite, Kimberly Lawrence, Olga, Allison Lockhart, Rachel Pyron, Julia Rader, Rebecca Roberts, Brooke Souza, and Jess Leaker. And they're all combined into one. I think I tried to separate them and didn't do a very good job of it. But anyways, in middleweight, I think the big storyline here is Kim Lawrence and Letha Engels are kind of going back and forth on who is 1 and 2 at a lot of contests, really splitting up. Kim had, I believe, the ACL or some sort of knee surgery, and this is her first contest back. She's back very soon, but her training has looked great, and it'll be interesting to see how she does, where in middleweight, Letha's pretty much won everything, and I'd say it's safe to rank her as the #1 middleweight in the world right now, even though she did lose closely to Kim Dirks at World's Strongest Woman in North Carolina in December, but has won pretty much everything else, and when the classes are combined, she's right up there with everyone as well. But I think the interesting events are going to be the truck pull and the Hercules hold. I think those will be the decider, and who kind of, because you can lose a lot of points in those. They're a lot harder to gauge versus like a press or stones. We kind of know where everyone is. Expect Letha to do absolutely phenomenal in those stones. Brittany Diamond did very well at the Hercules hold at the Arnold Pro. If I remember right, she'll be right up in there. She'll be right there. But I think Kim's going to be back, and it's going to be a good battle between Letha, Kim, and Brittany for the title, and the top 3 is going to be somewhere in there. But I mean, with this list of athletes, it could be pretty much anyone. I mean, everyone's good. On heavyweight, we have a lot of names missing, but every competitor here is very formidable. There's no Donna Moore, there's no Kristen Rhodes. I believe Donna was planning on it, but was recovering from some sort of injury or surgery or something, and just isn't quite 100%. Hoping her a speedy recovery on whatever the issue was. And going out to Norway is also an expensive trip, but we have Julia Rader, very fast. She'll do very good on the yoke, power stars and stuff like that. I can see her doing well in as well. And the stones. Olga is probably she's probably out of the 4 heavyweights, the #1 ranked out of everyone. She's been like top 3 in a bunch of different, pro women contests in the past 2-3 years. And Brooke Souza is very good as well. Good deadlifter, just good all around. And of course, my client Jessica Fithen, who I'm gonna pick to win. I can't not. She just won the Arnold Amateur, and she's hungry, and her training is looking great. Of course, I have more insight into that as normal than most of the competitors because I write it. So she's, she's really improved on the grip. It really comes down to the Hercules hold, and I'd say like, just truck pull for her. Just more non-standard events that hasn't had as much experience in, but Viking Press is really good. Stones are looking amazing. Power stairs have been improved tremendously. I think the Viking Press might be heavy and might give a couple people fits, and some people might zero in each class, and that's going to be a big factor as well. With there being no deadlift, it really changes things up, but I think this is going to be a great contest this weekend.